Today I'd like to do a meditation, more of a talking style meditation. You can close your eyes, or you can just sit and listen. But I've been sitting with the awareness of the fact that I have a constantly unhappy ego, or a constantly unhappy big baby that I am living with. And I don't mean outside of me, I mean the voice in my head, the ego, the inner children, whatever you want to call them. I am living with one of those. I have been living with that unhappy baby, big baby voice inside my head for as long as I can remember. It's as if I've gone through life and no matter what was going on, good, bad, happy, sad, it really did not matter, because there would be something wrong. There was a constant feeling in the background, running in the background of unhappiness, of discontent, of bothered, of irritated, of something just not being right. It's just not right. And I never could tell what it was. But I would listen to that feeling, and I would listen to the voice of the big baby that I lived with. And I would listen to its suggestions, as it's always giving suggestions and solutions to fix the problem. It actually is the problem. There is no problem other than it itself. But it always said, the big baby always said, no, if you change this, or if this condition was different, or if you lived in a different place, or if you had a different house, or if you wore different clothes, or if your hair looked different, or if you were with someone different, or there's always a condition on the outside of me that it would point to as the solution. Something that needed to change. That's something out there that needed to change. And I was sitting here just kind of putting my attention on that unhappy big baby voice inside my head. And the more I just looked at it, the more separate I became from it. And the more free I felt from it. And the less I could feel that bothered sensation, the less I could feel that unhappy feeling. So I know the source now. I can see the source of the pain. And I can see that it is not what I am, but something that I was living with and listening to and attached to And it was convincing me that that's what I was, and that was my identity. And now I can see that that's not true. And I'm getting space between me and that voice, that big, crying, needy, pushy, demanding, never enough, never satisfied, always discontent, that thing, that pain, that source of pain. In this moment, I feel very separated from it. And the more separated from it I become, and the more space I get between me and it, it's as if that crying baby that I live with has gone to sleep. And it's either gone to sleep and not putting out those sensations anymore, or it's still putting out those sensations, but the difference is I now have space between myself and it, meaning that's not flowing through me anymore because I've put space between me and it, and that space is just my awareness and knowledge and knowing that I'm not that. I'm not that. I'm not that voice. I'm not that pain. I'm not that bothered sensation. I'm not those thoughts. I'm not that. And the longer I sit in that awareness, the less and less I can hear and feel the mind or the ego or the big baby. And what I'm starting to feel is more physical sensations in my body. So if you want to try it for yourself, you can close your eyes and see your big baby. And notice what it's doing. Is it fussing? Is it crying? Is it angry? Is it just unsettled? Is it bothered? Is it wanting? Is it needing? Is it thinking? Is it planning? Is it scheming? Is it processing? Is it analyzing? Is it judging? Does it have someone pulled in front of it and it's picking them apart and they should have this and that and this and that? Is it talking about another person? What is it doing? Is it pointing at a condition and saying, ugh, if just this would change and that and this and if that was better, and then what is it doing? Just sit and pretend that you're sitting in a movie theater and you're just watching it on the stage. and just watch it. Just watch it like flail around. Acting all crazy, erratic. And as you watch it, just imagine that you're moving farther and farther away from it. That there's space coming in between you and it. It's moving farther away. You can still see it flailing around, doing its thing, all crazy like, talking, fussing, ranting, raving. And you're just floating away from it, and more space is building between you and it. And you start to notice the space more than you do it in the background, in the distance. And notice the stillness that you start to feel. The quiet, the nothingness, the peace. And notice your physical body. Notice life around you. Life is just happening. It's always happening. Always moving, flowing, being. Everything around you. Notice the things around you in life that aren't attached to a mind, such as plants and inanimate objects like furniture. Notice how easy it is. They're just being. They're just being there. Just like you right now, you're just being there too. You're not attached to your mind right now. You're just being. Feel free to just sit in this space as long as you want to. And feel free to return to this meditation anytime you need to be able to separate and see that big baby you live with and separate from the pain that it is causing. And reconnect with the life around you.